Shalom. Let's start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is the Mayim in Atlanta, and I've got pulled up on the screen here an article from endtimeheadlines.org, and it says Iran declares total war on America and Europe in new chilling threat. And Iran has had enough of the West shit. They've been targeting them for years and been trying to go to war with them. There was an announcement about post 9/11 that, and through a general, that America was going to go to war with 7 Arab countries in this new American century. And Iran is the last on that list. It started with Iraq and then went to Libya and Syria, in which you saw these countries fall. Somalia was on that list. Obviously, a couple others, but it ends with Iran. And they're ready. They're waiting. They have been preparing for this. They know what is coming. They've gotten their allies together, with the main one being Russia. And as the scripts say, Russia shall be a guard unto these smaller countries. And so Iran declaring total war against America and EU nations is pretty much, that's going to bring in Russia soon, and we're going to have that full out World War III, and these nations are going to be gathered into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, and the end's going to come through all this. But we're watching the pieces fall into place. It says, in a forceful and unprecedented statement that underscores a dramatic escalation in international tensions, Iran's president, Mossad Pezeshkian, has declared that the Islamic Republic is in a state of total war against the United States, Israel, and Europe. And with this, a lot of these European nations are going to back out of this, and it's just going to leave U.S. and Israel to fight together, because we know the beast shall hate the whore, shall make her desolate and naked and burn her with fire. It was the beast being NATO and EU, and that whore being America. So we know they're going to turn on America as well, or Babylon the Great, or that great whore. It says, according to interviews published on the official website of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Pezeshkian portrayed the current confrontation as deeper and more complex than past conflicts, including the brutal 1980 to 1988 war with Iraq. In my view, we are in an all-out war with the United States, Israel, and Europe. They do not want our country to stand on its own feet. We're seeing that, and we've watched Iran try to actually comply with all the sanctions and the things that have been placed on them, especially with building up nuclear facilities. They've had a lot of restrictions placed on them, and they've tried over the years, but they're saying they've had enough of it. Pezeshkian said in the interview, this war is worse than the war with Iraq. They are surrounding us on all fronts, economically, culturally, politically, and in terms of security. And we just saw that attack down in Australia, where they right away they said that it was Iran. That's who did it, with no evidence whatsoever of that. But yeah, they want a war with Iran, and Iran is ready to war back. It says President Pezeshkian's name is very difficult for me to pronounce. Use of the phrase total war signals something broader than conventional battlefield engagement, according to his remarks. Iran views sustained economic sanctions and diplomatic pressure from Western allies as part of a comprehensive campaign to weaken its sovereignty. So they want to take away its power. Since the conflict, he said, extends beyond military strikes into cultural and political pressure, creating what Tehran describes as persistent and multi-dimensional aggression. The president accused Western powers of seeking to bring our country to its knees, a phrase that encapsulates the deep distrust between Tehran and the West. This announcement comes against the backdrop of a highly volatile year marked by a sharp escalation of military confrontations between Iran and Israel. In June, Israel carried out a series of airstrikes on Iranian military and nuclear facilities, later joined by U.S. forces, significantly degrading parts of Iran's infrastructure. Iranian authorities claim the strikes caused more than 1,000 casualties, including senior military officials and nuclear scientists. Iran responded with hundreds of missiles and drones toward Israeli territory, resulting in dozens of Israeli fatalities, according to regional reporting. And that was pretty amazing how they used all those drones to get through the Iron Dome and attack the facilities they wanted to. It says these clashes have effectively halted any lingering efforts to revive negotiations with the United States over Iran's nuclear program. Tehran has rejected Western demands to significantly curb its uranium enrichment and missile efforts, viewing such calls as violations of its sovereignty. And yeah, going back up here, there's even this conflict they had, what do they call it, the 14-day war or something like that. But that was just more wars and rumors of wars. And we're still waiting on this all-out big war that is to come, involving these nations, involving America, Israel, EU nations, Russia, Iran, and so on and so forth. Pezeshkian insisted the Iranian forces are stronger than during the 12-day war. 12-day, not 14-day, Slovakia. And warned that any future attack on Iran would be met with a more decisive response. His remarks were made just days before a planned meeting in the United States between Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Milkowski and U.S. President Emperor Nero, where Iran's strategic direction is expected to be a foremost topic on the agenda. The Iranian economy has suffered under the weight of renewed sanctions, a depreciating currency, and rising inflation. Pezeshkian noted in his comments that this multifaceted pressure is part of what he frames as the broader war being waged against Iran, designed to destabilize the nation internally as well as externally. And yeah, not all war is just straightforward physical kinetic conflict. There's economic war, there's information wars, and basically all of it has been engaged onto Iran. And so they're declaring that they're done with that. And we should be looking forward to bigger wars coming. It's Ezekiel 38 and verse 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And this is Russia that it's speaking of. It says, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back. So how did he turn them back? They've gone from being the USSR into Russia, which is a little more polished, as you could say. But the Lord's going to turn them back into that warlike spirit that they had when they were USSR. It says, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army horses and horsemen. So the Lord is in control of them and their moves. And you can even see Russia is acting accordingly. They are making steps and building up their arsenals for this coming war. This is all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. And so their all of their military technology, all of their weaponry, all of their tanks, their jets, their missiles, very importantly, they are being built up. And this is all coming, all to go against the West. Babylon the Great, first and foremost, but also the land of, or that state of Israel. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Persia is Iran. We just read that Iran wants total war, or has declared total war against the West. Ethiopia and Libya, representing those North African countries, all of them with shield and helmet. So joined unto Gog, joined unto Russia. It says Gomer and all his bands. This is Turkey. Turkey's a part of NATO, or part of EU, Slovakia. Or let's just say they're a part of the beast, but they're going to turn, as we were talking about earlier. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So that's the point. Russia is going to be a guard unto these smaller countries, Iran included, which is called Persia here. And so Persia, or Iran, declaring total war on the West is really going to bring in Russia, which is going to eventually bring about World War III, which we look forward to. Because that brings the destruction of Babylon the Great, or America, aka America, which is a good thing. This place is evil and wicked, always has been, stolen, everything's a lie, and there's judgment coming for it. And it's going to be, part of that judgment comes through the other nations, Iran or Persia being one of them, led by Russia. So here's that, Jeremiah 50 and verse 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, Babylon's America, an assembly of great nations from the north country. Starts with Russia, Iran, Libya, Turkey. We just read them in Ezekiel 38. That's that assembly of great nations. And we're seeing Iran is getting itself into position. Assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. So they're going to get into battle formation and launch onto America. It says, their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. And these aren't old-fashioned bow and arrows, these are missiles with nuclear warheads attached to them. It says, and Chaldea shall be a spoil. Talking about America is going down. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Because you were glad, because you rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage. The Lord's heritage are the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And this place has completely destroyed us. And so the Lord's going to have these other nations destroy it. And that is what's coming. It says, because you are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and bellow as bulls. Because you're walking in your pride, you're fat, and you're ready to be sacrificed. It's a great sacrifice coming in the land of Babylon. Huge sacrifice coming. But we're seeing the pieces line up, and we're seeing the players declare that they're ready to play. So, Lord willing, this escalates. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rekha Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.